Hi, I'm Lance.
And I'm Joe.
And we're the SAR guys. Today we want to talk about flashlights. People actually kind of made fun of me because I talked about it in one of our videos, and I said how I want to make sure that my flashlights is actually something that I'm very redundant on. It's not that I'm afraid of the dark. I just really like to see what I'm doing. So we wanted to talk about the things that we carry on our pack, and as far as extras. Not everybody's going to have extra. Some people will have their helmet, and that's their redundant light source. Whatever you want to do, I always carry at least 3. Sometimes I'll have 4. It just depends on what I throw in my pocket at the last minute. So first one is Nebo. I love the Nebo lights. I think that they're very high powered. They are very strong and durable. And this is a Nebo Redline X. And so it has a turbo mode of 1800 lumens at 45 seconds. Normal is high at 720 lumens, and then that'll go for 2 hours, and then at 180 lumens, 4 hours. Usually that low setting is what I use out on searches because I've found that if I use the real high settings, I have a real hard time bouncing back into my night vision. And so most of the time I try to run these off of the low lumens. In fact, I didn't even know that it had the turbo mode until we got here until I started doing the research for this. It does have a strobe function, which I think is really nice if you're doing stuff overhead as far as helicopter and stuff like that, functions that are like that. I think it's nice. Rechargeable. I've never had a problem. The only thing I am going to say, normally I have a cap on this. I 3D printed a cap because it has this rocker switch on the back, which I like, but when it's in my pocket, even driving up here, I noticed that I had it in my helmet bag and it turned on. And so I always have a cap, or normally, I don't know where the cap is, on these when they go in my pack, and so I must have to print out a new one. But great little flashlight. Does have an adjustable beam. I like it because it gets really focused, or it can be a nice wide beam. Another one, I think Joe has one of these also, is it's the Coast HL8R, which is really nice. It has a very nice focusable beam also, and it has a high and low setting. These are nice because you can interchange the batteries. You can put a battery pack in it, or it has a rechargeable battery that you can pull it out, charge it standalone, or charge it in the actual unit itself. And I've found that these are very nice. They do the job. I really like the focus beam on these, and so overall, very good lights, and they'll last a long time. The high power on this one lasts for about 4.5 hours. Mine is a Coast HR7R, and so the 7R lasts for 22 hours at 201 lumens, and so good flashlight.
They do come with extra set of batteries. You can have a regular lithium-ion chargeable battery, but it also has, when you pull this out, you can charge your cell phone or your other devices right off the back of this if you need to. And so that's a nice function as well for that one.
Right on. I guess I didn't know that, so that's neat. All right. So what, you got a couple different ones that I don't.
I do. So I have the same one that you do, the Coast HP7R. This is the one that's issued to us by our team, and these are wonderful flashlights. Like this one I carry in my chest harness. It's clipped on, plus I tie it off as well because I have lost these before, and this one's about $90, so you don't want to lose it. The functionality of this is wonderful. It's just got everything you need for a flashlight. I've had issues in the past where we've been on a search and people don't have a flashlight. And it's not just our searchers who maybe have one that the batteries are dead or whatever.
Patience.
But the people that we're going to rescue, typically there's people with them, and those people don't have flashlights. And I made the mistake one time of giving this flashlight to one of those folks. I had a different headlamp that was issued to me that's an incandescent, and it got wet and it wouldn't work.
It was a horrible.
And we were carrying a Stokes litter up the hill at Harris Ranch, and I went into a hole and I hurt myself and I was out of commission. And it was because I'd loaned my flashlight out. So what I did was I carried this flashlight in my car, and I'm going to have to read about it. to tell you what it is. It's just kind of a cool one. It's called an NPET-09, and it is a multi-function
That's
flashlight.
Coast or
It's
NPET's the name.
NPET is the name of
Okay,
it, and it's they sell it for a rescue tool. Believe
nice.
it or not, it's $20, and it has multiple functions as far as the high and low beam on it go. Um, at 268 lumens for 4 to 6 hours. The good thing I
Wow.
like about this, it's also got a rescue tool on it for breaking windows and a seatbelt cutter.
Yeah.
It has multiple lights. It has the front lights. I'm going to shine it off to the side here a little bit. It has a strobe, a high and a low. But if you hold the button down here for a minute, it also has these lights that will, an area light. And you can use this for if you're working on a patient or something. And it has a dimmer on it. And if you hold it down again, it goes to a red light.
Oh,
and that red light for working in emergency situations.
Great tool.
Typically, I will give this to somebody else if they need a light. So when I go on a mission, this is always sitting on the dashboard of my truck, so it's got a charge going all the time. And then I just bring this, I throw it in my pocket, and then I give it to somebody.
Yep.
I also have, so this lives on my chest harness, but we have the new vests that we talked about, and I didn't want to have to keep moving flashlights around. So I bought one of the Nebos, and my Nebo's a little bit different than yours. It's the Torchy 2K, and it has multiple functions. The things that I don't like about this little flashlight, it has no focus on it. It's a fixed focus. Yeah. It does have several different modes, high, low. Let's see what it says here. It says it's got at 306 meters, it's got a 201 lumen light, and we'll show that in a little bit here. It's rechargeable, but you can't put other batteries in it. You just put the charger on the back, and that's it. And you can't tap into the battery in any way. It's just basically a handy little flashlight, but it's plenty bright, and it works plenty long. So I do like this one as a backup for that. What do you got on your helmet?
I did my helmet a little bit different than Joe's. Joe's has the straps and stuff on there. The straps always drive me nuts. I'm just going to be honest. It's always like I'm fighting with the headlamp. So I actually ended up taking mine and Velcroing my headlamp onto the front. And so it's always in the same spot. I can actually have it at a fixed location. It's just something that, OCD jumped in, and I just had a hard time with it. This is a LED sensor light is the brand. It's a light that I was issued, but it does have the strap and everything, just like Joe's does. I just took mine off and put it in a different bag. But this is on a high. It's 250 lumens, which will last for about 5 hours, and actually lasts longer than that. I don't use regular batteries with this, and so I use the the nickel. The NICI batteries, NiCad batteries. I use the NiCad batteries, 1100 milliamps, and I have found that they've actually probably doubled, if not tripled, the longevity of these. And so, normally I'm on a low beam anyways. This low beam is a 50 lumen low beam, but you also have this toggle on the back, and you can turn it on whatever setting, and you can bring it all the way down to like 5 lumens. And so I really like this. It does have a focus beam on the front, and so you can twist this, and you can either be a focused or a spot, or you can back it out and have a real nice big floodlight. And so it uses four AAA batteries, and it's got a little battery pack there. I love this light. Don't get me wrong. The downfall to this light, I'm going to say it, is that there is this little plastic clip that holds the battery pack on, and that's why I have this on there. I contacted the company, and they gave me a new cover.
So that clip broke on you?
The clip broke on me.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, I contacted them like second day that I had the new one. I broke it again, but I broke it because I wasn't understanding how it worked, and so it was my own fault. But I couldn't contact him again and say, hey, I broke it again. So I just use a strap. I think it works better anyways. It's totally waterproof, but just know, be smarter than me. That's kind of why we do these videos, right? Is to try to educate people and understand how that cover goes on there, and you might not pull a lance and break it. So great light though. So please don't shy away from this light, because I think it's a wonderful light.
Yeah. So mine is the result of an injury I got on a night search. My wife, bless her heart, she said, I'm going to buy you the best light there is. And I'm going to tell you, this is the granddaddy of all searches. This is another Coast. It's a Coast HL8R. On high power, it's 800 lumens, but that 800 lumens is actually measured at 200 meters.
Whew.
So when this thing's on high beam, it is really high. It's got a rechargeable battery pack, and then the second battery pack that uses Rake 4 AA batteries. It's adjustable with a spotlight, and then it has 3 modes here from high to low. And on low, I think it's about 50 lumens. Medium's about 100. And then the other one is 800 lumens. And I know that the first time I went to use it, I didn't realize it was on high when I turned it on, and I blinded all the searchers. Then everybody in the whole place, boy, they were a lot of words that weren't very kind being talked to me about what to do with that light. So I make sure that it's all the way down on low beam when I turn it on. But it hasn't failed me. It's been wonderful. I usually use it on a low power. Just like you do, because when we're out in the woods, a lot of times I don't use a light, because if we're a string of 8, 10 people and I'm in the middle of it, I just let other people use their lights, and we don't need to flood the area and blind everybody. But this has been a good light for me, and I don't have any doubts about it, how it works, and I'm very confident in the light.
Absolutely.
So why don't we do a little test on these things? And we're actually doing something unusual. It's nighttime. We're at one of the local high schools. It's near the woods, and we've got a football field, and then across the football field is the woods. So let's see what our flashlights will do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So this is the Nebo Redline X. This is high powered, and then then you go low powered, and then if you hold it down, that is going to be the turbo.
Can you see the trees back in the woods?
I can see the trees. I'm standing on the actual end zone line, and so I can totally see the other field goal and everything else. And so that's low beam, that's high beam, and then you have turbo.
Okay.
So this is my Coast handheld that I showed you earlier, and that is the high beam. I really like this because you can have a nice big flood, and then you can really hone it in all the way back there and see very well everything because of that nice flood. You do have a smaller one, and then you have a nice bright one with a strobe light. So this is my LED sensor light on my helmet, and so again, it is adjustable as far as the strobe, and then there's multiple settings, and it's got a toggle on the back here that can bring it all the way up to high. You can bring it back out to a flood in that. I usually use it on a very low power just to be able to see, because when we're out in the woods, there's no light pollution going on at all. So every little bit of light helps out a lot.
Okay, this is my Nebo. Let's see what we got here. So this is on low power, and I can probably see about 30 yards or so.
That's your little one, right?
That's my little Nebo, yep. All right, now that's on high power, and you can see the goalpost down the other end and the trees up on the hillside over there. That's pretty good. And I think that was on the turbo mode. And there's high power. This is high power. And again, we can see the goalposts down there, not real bright, but that's on the high power one.
Pretty amazing for a little flashlight.
All right, I'm going to show you my helmet now. And this one, we're going to turn it on. And this is low power, and we can see 20, 30 yards and barely make out the goalpost down the other end. And now I'm going to turn it up to medium power. And there's medium power, and we can see the goalposts and the trees and the whole length of the football field, really. And again, we have the focus. We can go out or zoom it into and actually the goalposts show up pretty good when I make it a spotlight. And then we have the turbo power here, and I can make it work here. There's turbo power, and you can see the trees very well and the goalpost, and I'm on the spotlight and floodlight. If there was anything on that field, you'd be able to see it right now. Any persons or anything. So that's pretty good. So that's my helmet. So this is the NPET light, and well, there's the flashing red, and there's a slower flashing red, and we'll hold this down, and that's a high power there, and this one doesn't have a focus on it, but we can see the trees down there. It's a narrow beam. It's a spotlight, and I can hit it again, and there's low. There's low power. Again, we can still see the poles, not quite as bright, and we can see down the field. You can see me shining that, and then there's the strobe light, and there's how that looks. Okay, and then we also have the white light, and we were actually using this for filming, and I had this under the camera so you could see us in the dark here, and then there's a lighter mode there.
Well, hopefully you found this informative. Again, please know your own equipment. Go out there, know the batteries that you're supposed to use, and whether or not it's issued to you or you go out and buy your own, just make sure that they're rated for the conditions that you're in.
And that they're always charged.
Absolutely.
All my flashlights, I have them all in one table at
Yep.
home, and they're all the chargers and everything are right there, charging all the batteries and
yep.
all the flashlights, the radios, GPS, everything is all in one place.
Yep. I got a whole wall dedicated to. So
yeah, yes. Okay, well, we hope you found that useful.
Absolutely. We'll see you on the trail.